breezing, she's a thought. I can't fuck with those E-girls. E-girls, fucking for a fee, girl. They got beta orbiters and they ain't even real girls. Act like they're in anime, detached from the real world. If she breezing, she's a thought. I can't fuck with those E-girls. You on the timeline, thinking that you're sick, like in every tweet that's posted by them anime pics. Slide in your DM, I'm like, you know that's not a chick. And he hit me back and told me, yeah, she is except the dick. They send that moolah for a monthly photo set. Every pic's below the neck and you can tell they are erect. The right girly names, thigh highs and a razor. Sending 30 tweets at betas for the paper. They told me hate the game, do not hate on the players. Tweet SMH at all of you e-girl enablers. I got hot takes, these dudes are just flamers. E-girls serving hot kicks if you pledge as a patron. And plus they do porn and they're fucking who you saving. They're hairier than me if they miss out on shaving. You wanna see a man's ass and go watch Gavin. You can just send me cash if dick is what you're craving. No homo, no homo. E-girls, fucking for a fee, girl. They got beta orbiters and they ain't even real girls. Act like they're in anime, detached from the real world. If she breezing, she's a thought. I can't fuck with those E-girls. E-girls, fucking for a fee, girl. They got beta orbiters and they ain't even real girls. Act like they're in anime, detached from the real world. If she breezing, she's a thought. I can't fuck with those E-girls.
If she breezing, she's a thought. I can't fuck with those E-girls.
All right. Welcome, one and all, to the PITCAST, Season 1, Episode 1. The beta test is over. This is the full release. We are going full on here. That was E-Girls by Egg White, who joins us live in the studio today. How you doing, Eggman?
I'm doing well. I just realized that I had the stream on with the audio on. I was like, man, what's that echo? And that makes sense now. That is exactly what it was. So, but I'm doing pretty well. I'm glad to be here.
Glad to have you on. So, Eggman, also known as Egg White, is a hip-hop artist and internet intellectual, most well known for his infamous Black Pill video. If any of you guys want to send either of us a question, go ahead and tweet hashtag PITCAST, or you can tweet at me on Twitter, at PITCAST.
So we do have a question here from Groiper. He said, here's a question to ask Egg. What kept you motivated to keep producing content even when people were harassing you and sending the police to your house to fuck with you and stuff? Hashtag PITCAST. So, basically, it's a good question because I really had for a long time, after I was getting fucked with a lot, doxxed, swatted, I never really got swatted, but I had the police called on me or whatever. But anyway, just through going through all that shit, obviously, it's knocked me down on my ass a couple times about it. So my mic is too loud.
I'll turn you down. Keep going.
Okay. So I've had those times where I had, I was like, oh God, I just didn't know if it was worth it. I've had times where I've just been like, oh man, and basically I just, I just had to take time and kind of collect myself. But I've realized, over these last couple years that my life was really just basically stagnating and, just working my shitty minimum wage retail job or whatever I was doing. And there just wasn't really anything. So once I started, kind of just like living inside the internet, it basically kind of gave my life some more purpose. So people think, I just had some guy actually just tell me the other day, he's like, if I were you, I would rather just be, an unknown loser of no, than be some like, basically people like, he's like thousands of people all over the world are laughing at you for being an ugly loser. And I'm like, well, shit, you know what? I made so many nice friends and met so many great people doing all this shit that, I just can't.
All press is good press, man. All press is good press. That's what I say.
Tell us the story about the time you told everyone you were officially gay. Well, I'm not gay, so I've never had that happen, but I appreciate the concern though.
Well, let's get into it here. Oh, before I I just want to mention, if we're going to take some callers later in the show. If you guys want to call in, go ahead, check the description. We've got a Discord that you can join if you want to call into the show. Oh, and one more thing. This is behind a paywall, just like Hide Wars. So if you haven't sent me $5, you better not be listening. All right. So I guess we'll just take me to the beginning, you know. I know you started with an infamous image on R9K. We were talking a little bit about it before we went live on the air, but how was the Eggy born? Was it the chicken or the egg?
Well, I'm afraid it's always been the old the shell cranium conundrum. I think that the egg has been was the origination. When I was I've been often quoted on the internet saying that I was the first human being to be born out of an ass, because that's why my head is shaped the way it is. That's what I've been told. But what was I going to say? So basically, I've kind of talked about it before, but essentially what it came down from was just, I had a history of browsing 4chan, obviously, and, I browsed it when I was younger and in high school and shit, and I kind of stopped browsing it for a while, and after I was out of high school, I started browsing it again, but I was browsing Fit, because I was very, very overweight at the time, and so I decided to start browsing Fit to try and slim down and get some information, and it was in the best shape of my life after I was browsing Fit and reading the sticky. It actually inspired me to go to college to be a dietitian. And so I was going to college. I
noticed in that original photo of you, like you're pretty thin.
Yeah, probably the thinnest I've been is like in around like 150 or so, and I'm not sure. I have like one picture that's probably like of me in this purple type shirt. That's probably the closest to that time that I could think of. But as I was on Fit, I kind of came to really start enjoying the culture. This is also when I was browsing. I started browsing the MISC at this time, because it was like, people would be talking, about on Fit. They would be talking about, my headphones. I have headphones on, so I don't know. But in any case, I was browsing there, kind of getting acquainted with this, this culture, of that they had on Fit here, and so I really started getting into all the memes of that sort. I was going on forum video games and shit, and having my name being like Myron Gaines and all that business. But then in Fit, whenever the time was, in 2012, early 2012, I believe, they started banning Feels posting on Fit. And they told us to all go to R9K, so that was when I started browsing R9K. And, then I was actually browsing Poll more at that time, though, in the 2012-2013 time frame. But, so I kind of alternated. I still got to R9K to get my incel rage out of my system, but I would go and be on 4chan, or, back between R9K and Poll, just, kind of depending on how I was feeling. And so then I went, and 2014 came around. I was very, very much into this MMO I was playing at the time, so I wasn't really even caring a whole bunch about 4chan or anything like that. But I ended up getting banned from this MMO, and I was playing this shit like 50 to 60 hours a week on top of working full time. So I really, really opened up a bunch of time for me to just sit around and remember how much my fucking life sucked, which just pissed me off. So basically, I just had like all this rage. I had like red pill rage about Poll type stuff. I had incel rage, and then the Elliot Roger thing happened, and that really just it was this perfect storm to kind of just like suck me in to just be like continuously doing all this shit. And then then came the name fagging and everything with that. And then this one time went on, I started trip fagging, and I kind of just became that weirdo trip fag. And then things kind of just went as they did.
Right. When did you start like making kind of content on your own? Like when did you start YouTubing and all that?
Well, it really started around the same time that I started trip fagging, because it was like I was name fagging, and then I got like pissed off and I was like raging, and then I kind of left for a little while. And then I started trip fagging, and I was like, I was when I came out, I said I'm the red pill master now. I was fucking just like going around and dropping I was posting like crazy, just all these fucking infographics all the time and shit, just arguing, writing like novels of arguments for however long. But then I remember I started streaming because there was a guy who I worked with who streamed, and this was my first experience with streaming, but he kind of showed me how to do like Twitch and XSplit and all this different stuff. And I had just built my computer. Well, actually, no, that's not true because I built my computer the year before. I'm getting screwed up. But I had my computer and I could stream. It was perfectly good for streaming. I had my mic and my webcam and everything. So I'm like, oh, fuck, I might as well. So I gave streaming a try. And it was very interesting because I had never really streamed before. But in like my very first stream that I did pretty much, I had a pretty decent audience that one time. So then I remember I made my first YouTube video because people thought I was like 5 feet tall and that I had like a girl's voice or shit like that. That was just this conception that was out there from what they had seen of me. So I made this video called Autism Speaks. And also the reason why I made that was because I got my first smartphone right around that time. So I was like, oh shit, no, I can, I had recorded a couple webcam videos before, but it was a new sort of thing. It was like I had my first camera to record with, so I recorded a little YouTube video, made a YouTube account. Well, actually, on top of that, it was also around this time I had figured out how to make a new YouTube account because I had my main YouTube account that I'd had for many years had gotten banned probably, I think it was early 2013 because I made this. Like I said, I was really big into pole in the 2012, 2013 years, more than R9K by a fair amount. So in 2013, I made this I turned my old YouTube channel into something called Merchant Free Media, where I basically would just go on and I would just like take a poll topic of the day and I would just rant. Like I remember when Sandy Hook happened, I did a video about that. And I remember when I'm trying to think, there was some, basically just whatever I would pop in that would like, get kind of a little bit of a fire under me in my belly or whatever from reading on poll. I'd go on and be like, welcome to Merchant Free Media. Today we're going to be talking about how they're trying to take away our guns and blah, blah, whatever I was talking about at the time. And eventually the channel got taken down for hate speech because I made a video called Liberalism is a Mental Illness where I ranted for like 20 minutes and I basically just like went the fuck off, and it actually started I got linked on some like blog or something, and then basically after that like my fucking my channel got taken, or I got banned. So I couldn't, it was weird, like I had some weird issue where like I was unable to make a YouTube account because it would like I couldn't. I don't know. I still don't know what the problem was to this day because it would be like I'd go to make a new YouTube account and it would like try to like force me to use my band account, and then it like wouldn't let me make a new account. So it was all kind of just came about at the same time where I could make a new account, I could make a video, and and it was just and I had a reason to make a video, so it all kind of culminated together to this sort of perfect storm where I decided to start making videos, and that's kind of how it all came about.
Cool. Oh, someone asked, how do we know each other? And I guess my answer to that is I added you on Snapchat like years ago, I think, right? Like 2 or 3 years ago, something like that.
Yeah, because I would say it's probably been over 2 years, yeah.
Yeah, and I would just kind of hit you up every once in a while to chat, and that was pretty much the extent of our relationship for a while. And then I started doing the PITCAST, and I hit you up again. I was like, hey, here's this great internet celebrity I have a connection with, So I was like, hey, let's get him on the PITCAST. Of course, then I just like, as you mentioned in Egg Wars, I just fucking dropped it. I was dealing with some shit at the time, and I put the PITCAST on hold, never hit you up. I want to publicly apologize for that, by the way, for leaving you hanging there. But I'm glad that I finally got you on.
I know. It's like I said in the Egg Wars video. It's like I got you on Snapchat. We did a little bit of back and forth. I seen you were having some good times, so I was like, I seen you getting down. I was like, hey, you know what, dude's doing his thing.
Yeah. And then I was gonna ask. So how has been? I know you're not like crazy internet famous, but you have a little bit of internet fame going on. Like, how has that affected your life? I'm sure it has pretty significantly, but in what ways has that really affected your life?
Well, I would say on the major front, just, the fact that I pretty much, like I said before, my life was like just been like a total stagnation. All I was doing was just like sitting around drinking, fucking playing like Korean MMOs and shit. That was like my entire life, and I never, I never thought my life was going to go anywhere else. So on one front, just the fact that I even have, like, I consider people who come and spend time with me on the internet or whatever to be like friends of mine in a way. So like, I never really had a social life very much. So like, that's really cool for me, apart from anything else. But,
yeah, totally.
One of the major, oh shit, we got VMU Dream in the chat. What's up?
Oh shit. Hey, big fan VMU. What's up? All right.
But I was going to say, the major, I think, turning point for me was, it was actually before the Oregon incident. What happened was, I went to Toronto, Canada in the end of August of 2015. And there's a couple videos out there from the time that it was out there. There's like a video of me like singing in a bathroom, and there's me in this club or whatever. So, but there's a couple of videos from that time frame. But when I was in Toronto, I went up there to go to Fan Expo. I got invited up there by some people who I'd actually met from 4chan, who I actually still have contact with, except for one guy. Shout out to my boy Mike, wherever he's at. I haven't heard from him in a long time. Big Mike, he's a cool dude, but I haven't spoken to him for like a couple years now. Anyways, so I was up in Toronto having a good time, and Fan Expo ended, and it was going to be time. I actually drove there. I actually drove across the United States and drove up into Canada in my car. So it was cool. Kind of just whenever I was going to go. But I was having such a good time, and this was like right after the currency exchange was like, my money was worth a lot more up there. So I'm like, fuck it. Right. So I stayed up there for like an extra probably week or something like that. But when I was up there, I got recommended to go to Kensington Market, I believe is the correct term for it. And it's like this Asian market, and there's like there's like little, small stuff. There's Asian market. There's just a bunch of different stuff around there. So I go to this place. I took an Uber over to this Kensington Market, and I was walking around, and I go to this coffee shop, and it's like coffee and gelato. So I'm like, ooh, gelato is like really cool to me. So I'm like, ooh, I never really had a lot of that. So I go, and I'm ordering gelato and shit at this shop, and all of a sudden some guy was like, wait a minute, are you, excuse me, sir, are you the Eggman? And I'm like, what the fuck? Because this is like, obviously the black pill was out there at this point, but like the others, no Oregon, nothing, nothing else that would be like huge or whatever. But it was just so wild to me, because when we took pictures together, I still talk to this guy, by the way. I still have him on Snapchat. But it was crazy wild that I'm in a different country and just in the middle of nowhere, and some guy just all of a sudden approaches me, and he's like, "Oh, hey, what's up, dude? Are you the Eggman?" Oh my, I could tell from your voice, dude. Oh shit, like that. I'm like, oh my goodness. It was so wild and so crazy to me. I couldn't believe it. Now that's happened other times now since then. Yeah, because I've met up with.
How often do you get recognized?
Where I'm from, really not much. Although it is getting to increase now, because like my cousins and stuff. I have a couple cousins who found my shit organically. Like I never really talk about this stuff with my family that much. But like, so I have some cousins who like found my shit organically and have been like sharing it with their friends and like other members of my family and stuff. So it's very interesting.
What does your family think of all this?
They're cool with it. They're pretty cool with it. They just, I say I do my shows, I do my little videos or music, whatever. They're just like, oh, hey, do your thing. So like, some of them are really like think I'm really, really cool. Like that's really, really tight. But some of them are just kind of like, I don't know if they fully 100% understand all of it. So they're like, they're just kind of, okay, that's cool, that sort of thing.
Right. That's cool. Oh, for those, you mentioned the Oregon incident. For those who are unenlightened on the topic, do you want to explain that real quick so that they know what you're referencing?
Sure. So at the time, I was out in Seattle, Washington at the beginning, or just about roughly 2 years ago. I was out there, and I still remember the day very clearly, because I was out there and I was in Linwood, I believe, actually, to be specific, which I think was north of Seattle.
Okay.
I was in Linwood, and I'm like, oh, hey, what's up? Anybody out there? Because I was like, I'm trying to, like, if I'm out there, I'm trying to hang out with people and see what's going on. So I'm like, well, fuck, what's good? So I'm out there, and So I uploaded the video, thinking nothing of it. Of course, nobody ever really got back to me, so I was kind of chilling. I went to Seattle, went on the Ferris wheel out there.
Okay.
I went and ate some good food, just kind of chilling out there and shit.
Yeah.
So, anyways, the time comes where I'm gonna be leaving, and I went, and I had been on a road trip, so I was getting my oil changed and all that, and I'm chilling at this gas station that's next to the Midas, where I'm getting my oil changed and all that. And then that's when on the news, it was like, the Umpqua incident and all this different stuff. And so that was when somebody notified me. They're like, hey, dude, fucking pull. There's like a 500 post thread saying you did it, man. And I'm like, okay, haha, whatever. No, I'm not thinking anything of it.
Right.
It was kind of just whatever. It seemed like this
is
kind of
for those who are familiar. This is the if I'm not mistaken. This is the some of you guys are all right. If you go to school in the Northwest, don't go to school tomorrow. Post that whole
exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. So, but when it really became obvious to me that this was serious was I was leaving Seattle and I was driving out and I stopped at a road stop, or what do you call it? Like a rest area or whatever, to use the restroom out there and just sip off the water fountain or whatever was out there. And I looked at my phone, and now I had Snapchat for about a year at this point, but I had never probably gotten added more by maybe 3 people at a time ever. So I opened up my phone, and the added is a plus symbol, which I'm like, oh, it's kind of weird. I didn't know what that was all about. So I opened my Snapchat, and I probably have 150 people who have added me, and I'm like, okay, what the fuck is this shit? So I started accepting all these people's ad requests, and all of a sudden I'm getting Snapchats. Oh, hello, this is what's her name? I'm Nina Nina something. Her name was Nina Cakes on Snapchat. She's like, I'm Nina with the New York Times, and we want to get the full report. You've been blamed, or you've been accused as everybody by being this murderer. I had BuzzFeed, Gizmodo, New York Times. I'm trying to think what else. Obviously,
Jesus.
NBC, Fox, CNN, MSNBC, all these different news networks. All these different people added me. I still have. There was this chick who was like notorious for some articles she wrote back in the day. And what the hell is her name now? I'm trying to remember. I still have her on Snapchat actually. After these last couple years, Tracy Clark Fiore or some shit like that. She did these really clickbait articles back in the day. But this Tracy Clark Fiore chick, she added me. I still have her on Snapchat. She posts pictures of her and her dog and shit. But that was funny too. I don't remember who she was even with, but she was one of these clickbait article writers. But then I approached Tom Winters, was the one guy who I was like, this guy seems the most solid. I'm just he's like, hey man, are you the killer? And I'm like, no, I'm not. And then he tweeted out, the Eggman is not, has communicated with NBC. He is alive. He's not the killer. So that cleared my name. And at the time, I could have milked it probably more of in the media way, but I was just I thought it was just
you were probably
ridiculous
freaking out, right?
Well, the way I interpreted it was just it was so ridiculous to me. I was like, this is your fucking, I guess I wasn't fully aware just of how total fabrication the media was at, prior to this incident. I mean, I was pretty, it was to a point, but this kind of pushed me all the way through to realizing at this point. But I was just it was just so crazy to me that you would read a post on Twitter or something, and I'm a news reporter. I read something on Twitter. Okay, well, it must be true then. Someone started fucking reporting it and all this. It was wild. Wow. But yeah, it was.
Shit,
it was
man.
Definitely. Yeah.
Wow. I was gonna ask. So you've got some minor e-fame. Has your e-fame ever gotten you laid?
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I couldn't. It's not even. It doesn't even mean as much to me really anymore. I don't think, because you kind of realize that any chick that you get that's coming with it's coming and paying attention to you for this shit is probably a total kook.
Right.
But I mean, yeah, I've got. There's no
R
way
and
that
K
I probably
girls
would've.
don't have the best reputation for sanity.
Well, I'm trying to think here. Was there any girls that? Well, I mean, there was. I'm trying to think. I guess they pretty much probably all had some. I guess I would call them 4chan-ish type chicks. But I mean, the thing is they're all. I guess really a lot of people you meet that's you see them from 4chan. I mean, I have obviously I have a lot of love for everybody who I meet.
I dated a 4chan girl. But never again. Fuck that
but
shit.
I mean, I got a lot of love for the guys, no homo, that I meet from 4chan. They're a lot of good dudes, but I've met some guys from 4chan too who are like, who are like the ones who would like punch holes in their walls and fucking like just go like total psycho about shit. Yeah. But that's pretty much every chick you meet, especially from that corner of it. Maybe, well, the thing is like there's a big overlap with CGL girls, also these cosplay girls.
Yeah,
that do this shit. Oh my god,
I dated a CGL.
Oh
girl.
My god. Oh yeah, they're
a mess.
Ooh, yeah.
They're CGL.
Yeah,
that's an interesting board, man. It's kind of like the female answer to R9K. It's just like a bunch of catty bitches just in this closed tank, and they're all just like spreading rumors and talking shit about each other and calling each other fat and shit.
Yeah, it's pretty much, it's like all these, it's like the high school reject girls who smelled bad and like sat by themselves, and everybody would like not look at them. Like they all kind of ended up congregating to this corner of the internet. So I guess, I don't know. I got love for a lot of my dudes who are a little more introverted, but these chicks are just like fucking wild and just really awful people for the most part.
People in the chat are asking, where's Lonely Boy? And Lonely Boy hasn't gotten in contact with me. I'm kind of afraid that he's dead. So you guys should probably all message him and ask him if he is alive, because I have had no contact with Lonely Boy. I have no idea what happened to him. But I want to get him on the show if he is in fact not dead. And then, so you're probably most well known for, I guess, the organ incident, and then also the whole black pill video. And so I know you probably are less butthurt isn't the right word, but you're a little bit easier on with your views on women. Is that accurate?
Well, I mean, it's kind of just how you perceive it. I mean, it's not, I've kind of withdrawn in a way from, it's really a thing where I'm not surrounding myself with a certain, a certain sort of discourse on a regular basis anymore. There was a certain point where I was on, slut hate or PUA hate or lookism or, these places like this, or I was in these tiny chats or these Skype chats or whatever, or on R9K or whatever, like for upwards of 12 hours a day, to where it was like that's all I was taking in, and I was just pissed off like all the time,
right?
And there was always something new to be pissed off about.
Anger's addictive. Like people get addicted to being pissed off. Like that rush you get when you're just outraged. Like people get hooked on that. It's like a drug.
It's true. I mean, it definitely. And that was sort of my original poll experience as well. Because when I started browsing poll back when it came back, I would say I was at maybe left of center just a smidge, but I was like something like a leftist center.
Right.
I saw you mention that
one of the egg wars.
These, I'm like, these guys, I came in and I was getting heated at first because I was like, how can they be so ignorant? How could these ignorant Republicans or whatever, that's how, I guess, like legit how I was. But then I started realizing
those Michael Moore documentaries.
I started taking some of those red pills and shit on poll, and I was like, oh shit. I was like, damn. And then I started getting angry in the other way. I was like, God, I've been lied to my whole life. And all this. So I was like, I came in and so I'd go on there. That's why I made this YouTube channel I did back then, because I would just be like I'd just be like sitting there and be like, God, I can't believe this is going on. I need to say something about this. This is just, I need to let loose about this. And so, but the thing is like, I still say things like, obviously, I mentioned this in like egg wars and stuff too. Obviously we live in an age where things are just so convoluted, and so we don't even know, like a guy who's born nowadays. I mean, they're doing like gay sex education when you're 5 years old and all this stuff. They're making guys wear dresses and shit, and they don't even tell them boy and girl doesn't even exist anymore. So like it's gonna hit even harder once like these kids grow up and realize shit's going on now. It's even worse, but we're so far removed from what would be considered to be like, the traditional male and female relationship. Just everything's so perverted and distorted and diluted. It's like, you don't even know what's real about anything anymore. You know what I mean? So it's just like, everything's so crazy. But I try and adhere to a somewhat traditional point of view. But it's like when I say a woman should not go to school and when a woman should stay home and have kids and raise kids or whatever, a lot of people would consider that to be like really crazy or whatever. But it's all just a point of view from wherever perspective you're kind of looking from.
Well, you made the black pill on women, but is there a white pill? Is there a silver lining in your view?
Well, really, I think that it's gonna just have to come to there's got to be a point where people fucking realize that it's not sustainable anymore, because that's going to happen. I mean, one of these days, you have I was reading about, this was something I was thinking about making a video about actually with my last Egg Wars, but we're looking at Japan, they're pretty, they're having some this sort of inverted population where there's so many old people and so few young people, and young people aren't having more kids, and so they got to have immigrants, but really they're going out and they're doing so much with automation and all this different stuff to where it's, if they were to just have a lower population and kind of just have and kind of adjust as the population declines, maybe have automation taking care of some of the issues, then you can kind of allow everything to kind of settle, and then once you kind of get it figured out that way, you know what I mean? So when we have America where people want to go and do all this fucking weirdo shit, nobody wants to have kids, people want to adopt a dog or whatever, some starving refugee, and just not give a fuck. But then at the same time, they want to continue to try and sustain, try to sustain the population just such a certain way by having immigrants or people on visas or whatever the case might be. It's like it's just putting a Band-Aid over this crack in this dam, and it's never going to work, because I mean, even now when you have people who are Hispanic or whatever that are coming into the country, and and their first generation is like, oh, they want to have a bunch of kids, they get sort of adjusted to this Western sickness, and then they stop breeding. Or you could even say, obviously on one point of view you could say it's like a sick, this the decadence, that sort of thing, but at the same time it's like you could also say that it's when you have a nation who develops to a certain point, it's just sort of the natural state of things is that they don't just tend to continue breeding like that, because it's like
have you read the works of Julius Evola?
I have read some, but it's been a little while. I got a tweet just now here from Groiper again. He says, "Egg, have you ever gotten into a fist fight?" Yes, as a matter of fact, I used to scrap when I was a kid. Because we would do, it just, I was kind of, I don't want to say I was necessarily targeted for bullying, but I was on occasion, but it was just something we did, it wasn't like, we would be after school, we'd be chilling, some guys would be there after school, we'd go to, we'd kind of walk out of sight and we'd do, we'd play dead arm, and then maybe we like to do bare knuckle boxing. I actually did bare knuckle boxing for the first time when I was in second grade, because when I was in second grade was the year that Fight Club came out, or it was right around that time. So we decided after school one day, we were like, oh man, this one guy's like, oh, my mom let me see in this movie Fight Club, and there's these guys and they all hang around and they beat each other up. We should do that. So we ended up having our own Fight Club when I was in second grade, and some kid came and he was like this fucking dweeby little fucking brace curly haired dweeb kid, and he seen us fighting, he started crying, and his mom came and picked him up, and she reported us to the fucking school or whatever. So that kind of sucked, but it was fun while it lasted. We used to go, there was this parking lot by this hospital where it was kind of it was close to where we lived, but it was sort of out of sight. We'd go there and just kind of throw a couple punches every now and then. It was fun. I mean, it was fun to do. We weren't necessarily trying to really beat the shit out of each other. We just kind of throw some punches and have fun.
Quirt says, have you properly explained to Eggman what the pit is and how many layers of irony we're on? I don't know, how much do you know about the pit?
To be frank, really not very much. I mean, you introduced me to it. I don't really do Reddit, so it's I didn't really, I've never really spent much time on it.
But the idea is it's a subreddit for people who are banned from the $1 Million Extreme subreddit. And so it's kind of this weird mix of like people who are tired of like pull memes getting posted on the $1 Million Extreme Reddit. Then there's like some really just kind of fucked up butthurt people who just hate Sam Hyde with this like a fiery passion. We had this one person who had they made a Twitter bot to every time Sam Hyde would tweet, or someone would tweet at Sam Hyde, the Twitter bot would send them like an infographic that accused Sam Hyde of being a tranny fucker or whatever, and shit like that. So it's kind of a mix of those people. But most of the people there are just they're on 8 layers of irony, and it's just kind of a fun place to hang out, and it's one of the places, you're not really allowed to dissent on the $1 Million Extreme subreddit. So if you want to dissent a little and commit some thought crimes, it's a good place to do that.
Right on. Yeah, I'm familiar with that particular poster because of especially on the any thread on 4chan, especially. It doesn't matter even what board you were on, because he gets posted, and he's been posted over the years. And because I actually found him originally.
Oh, he posts himself too. It's pretty. There are times it's really obvious that Sam Hyde is shilling his own shit, but it's like I mean, they can't blame him. The guy's like an underground independent YouTuber. Like, how else are you gonna get viewers on your content? Like, you gotta advertise somewhere. But what were you saying?
Yeah. But I just remember that because I've seen it before, and people have like sort of debunked it, but there was like always, it always seemed like there was like one single person who would just like always jump to post the one with what's her face, the chick that's in Brazil now or whatever, and then the tranny fucking shit, and then they'd like repeatedly be like, oh, Samuel Hoydle, he's at it again, whatever else.
Oh, the Marky, that Marky bitch. Is that the one you're thinking of? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad to say that I've just been so far removed from a lot of that shit for a long time that I've never really been aware of a lot of these random cam whores and stuff that have been out there and doing their thing. So, but we got a question here from my boy Flimby, aka the Lankster, and he said, "Yo, Egg, who inspires you musically speaking and otherwise?" Now, musically speaking, I get this question a lot, and this is sort of a question I tend to deflect a lot because like I'm so bad about sort of picking favorites, so to speak. As far as my music goes, I mean, people don't know, like, I used to, when I first started off like doing music, I was singing R&B, but my voice just kind of got a little bit gruff for that. So that's one thing. I mean, as far as R&B goes, I don't know, I just used to like to listen to a lot of what I do that comes from like my musical inspirations or what I enjoy listening to. It all kind of stems from sort of like the early 2000s, because in the early 2000s, I used to listen to all kinds of random shit. I listened to rock. I had like all these like Queen, Styx, Eagles records, vinyls I got from like these random like garage sales and shit. And so I'd listen to this and I'd feel like, this is like what I was on. But early 2000s, I got introduced to Memphis rap at that time. Like I had like 3 6 Mafia stuff, and this was like, I got introduced to some of that, and so that was pretty cool. And then in like the mid 2000s, I got introduced to DJ Screw and like his albums. And I used to fucking just sit and listen to like all these Screw tapes, and I really enjoyed that a lot. And I was heavy into that for probably a few years, and then in 2009, I got this album, which is, in my opinion, is still highly underrated for a hip hop album. And I believe it is still the only triple disc release that has been released, like a triple disc hip hop album release, and that is American Hunger by MF Grimm. And there's some really, really good production on that. Really, just very, very, it's very artistic and very like, it just has a lot of expression to it. And so I really got into that, and that was like put me on like some heavy, more like East Coast type stuff.
All right.
And when I got out of high school, I was actually I took a little bit of money I got for my graduation and stuff, and I bought my first like drum pad and my first equipment that I had for doing that sort of thing. All I had was my laptop at the time, but I would go on my laptop and I would chop up some records, like the DITC, digging in the crates. I go through. I had all these discographies that I had on my laptop of 70s kind of funky type stuff, like 60s and 70s, and I would go and chop some of it up. The foreign records. You would get these foreign records from Europe and Italy that had this crazy symphonic sound. I go and I just chop it up, and that's what I started doing. And I came to be acquainted with a bunch of these underground rappers and stuff. This was in 2010, 2009, 2010. And I had Facebook at the time, and I called myself Mills the General, and I would link up with all these people, and they would, but it came to be aware, or it became obvious to me that there was not a lot of future in this. I knew the guys who were really getting to it were way more connected than me, and they were, it was a lot that it kind of, I was God, I just don't know if this is going to be for me. So I ended up just kind of, I was I kind of just fell out of favor with it. And then I was working my gas station job for a while. Then I got into the next year I went to college.
That's the job you got fired from because someone sent your manager all your videos or something, if I remember correctly.
Well, the only job I've actually truly been fired from is the one I got fired from last year. The one that I made the video, I got fired. Now I'm screaming, that one. But I've had videos where I've had times where I've had jobs that I've pretty much been told, you can quit now or we're going to fire you. But my one job I had was my gas station job that I worked up until a couple years ago. And my manager, the gal who was my manager there, she was only 1 year older than me, but she was my manager. But she got sent the black pill video from
what was her reaction to that?
She was just I don't know. She really liked me a lot. She really, really liked me a lot. She just really just thought I was this great guy because I used to rap for her and stuff. And she was thought it was just the coolest thing. So she really liked me a lot. So she kind of was just oh, Mills. Oh, Mills. Yeah, oh, Mills. Oh, Mills. And then she'd go off for a cigarette or whatever. I was pretty much she never really got into it with me, but.
Right.
But shout out to all my people in the chat, though. By the way, I want to say that I've seen plenty. Court, Will Truth, Christine.
Yeah, this is a record for our viewership right now. We got almost 40 people watching.
I've seen it peak 40, 43 a couple times. So yeah, but it's a shout out to all my people, though.
Someone messaged me, ask Eggman if he's Jewish. Are you Jewish?
I am not Jewish. I might have some. I kind of have a little bit of a Jewish experience, I think, because I have a lot of. I have a significant sort of Polish background. At least it's a pretty large chunk of Polish ancestry. I think I have something to do with it probably, and then also me being native.
Have you had your DNA tested before, or thought about it?
I haven't, because I just I've toyed with the idea, but I'm God, I don't know. I'm just not really enough. I'm really comfortable with basically sending in my DNA to these companies because they kind of they're a little sketch to me.
They basically own your DNA once you send it to them, depending on the company,
Pretty much, yeah. I don't know. I could see an occasion of sorts where you're having you're seen as a dissident, and they're oh, hey, didn't we do that guy's DNA test a while back? And then, they could be frame
they
you for
could
some shit or
clone,
something.
take you out, replace you. No one would know. Ooh.
Exactly.
Let's see. So, we talked about your rap career a little earlier. Who are your who are your top 5 rap artists?
Oh fuck. Oh, I'm trying to think. It's. Fuck. See, the thing is I could talk about who I have listened to, but
just throw some recommendations out for the audience.
Well, I would say if you haven't heard the MF Grimm album, American Hunger, it's a fucking classic. It came out 10 years ago now. That's a classic album that I just never really hear a lot of people talking about. It doesn't really get a lot of attention. So that's one of the best sort of independent albums that I heard in my life.
Right on.
What else do I go back to? I like to listen. I don't know. These aren't even artists, but my boy Slim K, Chopped Up Not Slopped Up. He's a really good, sort of screwer of. He does the screw type thing, but he said, if it, he's a pretty good guy who's sort of like the new wave on that. So he makes really good mixes. He has I used to listen to a few years back. There was a guy before I got put on Slim K. There was DJ Polypop, I think, or something like that. He used to do some tapes and shit. Both these guys have dozens of tapes they've put out of screwed up music. So they're both really good jams. Right. So I guess as far as who I'm listening to lately, I mean, one rapper who I like a lot, who just kind of never, I don't think he's really ever reached his full potential, was Gunplay. He's I always liked, he was really with the shit. He was doing a lot of fuckery, while he was out. But he's he's a real character. Living legend. He had what was that one now? 106 and Snort or whatever it was, that mixtape. So he's kind of a raw dude. I don't know. I like as far as the people who just came out recently in this last year. I was fucking with Trippie Redd on a lot of shit. He's a kind of a character, but I was banging some of his music. And he's with Cody Shane and Lil Wop. Lil Wop, he's kind of he's a really, I don't know. He's super mumble rap. He's actually related to Famous Dex, so they're both on that super mumble rap shit. So he's got a couple songs I like, but I mean, the Rich Forever label, Jay Critch is fucking going hard right now. Jay Critch is out here, just about everything he drops is just going crazy. Rich just came out with new Freezer song just a day or two ago. That shit's going crazy right now. But as far as I guess old school, more East Coast shit, Master Ace is one of the best to ever do it, in my opinion. He's one of the GOATs, in my opinion. So shout out to Master Ace. He's been dropping the heat for a long time. Let's see. I'm trying to think. What was that one? I don't know. It's basically I'm just really big on a lot of I like, as far as the actual substance, I like the a lot of more East Coast, probably more than anything else. As far as down south rappers, of course, Dre 3 Stacks, probably the best to ever do it out of the South. I mean, just my opinion, when it comes down to the raw ability, I think Outkast has definitely got to be probably. I mean, I got a lot of love for a lot of Southern artists, but Outkast probably got to be. I mean, it's just unparalleled, really.
All right. We got.
So that's probably. We can move some more questions. I'll keep on randomly going off on tangents in this.
Oh no, feel free, man. Feel free. But we got a question here from Technodelic. My ex is snapping me right now, asking if she can come over because her boyfriend is trying to fuck a guy. What should I do, Eggman?
Man, I would say you gotta keep that bitch cut off. She could be serious, but she's being opportunistic right now. So she's seeing a way to try and manipulate you into doing something you wouldn't otherwise do. If that wasn't happening, you obviously wouldn't. So she's trying to get into your space. She's using this opportunity to try and get into your space. And who knows? She might be trying to manipulate you in a way. So I would say I wouldn't go for it myself personally.
Right on. I'd probably agree with you there. Petro Inhaler asks, where do I find Eggman lore, or are you planning to expand it upon it in Egg Wars?
Yeah, I could probably use Egg Wars to continue expanding upon things, just because there's just been so much stuff. I mean, really, my whole Eggman thing was only really, I would consider it anyway, really active, for some year-ish portion, because if I started trip fagging in October of 2014, and then October of 2015, right about 1 year after, was in the Oregon step. So really it was that one solid year chunk where a lot of stuff was going on, as far as the internet goes. But obviously I have my sort of past things as well. But I think I'm probably going to just because there's a lot that people wouldn't otherwise know about, and there's a lot that's probably hard to find these days, in regards to, I've talked about a lot of different random stuff. So I'm going to say I'll probably keep on expanding upon it in Egg Wars, just because there's a lot of ground to cover in that regard. And that's kind of a way I can kind of get it all out on, a format of sorts to sort of have reference points of it. So
right. We got a question here from Cast Iron Pelagius. He says, "What does Eggman's breakfast consist of?"
What I have for breakfast, I have not eaten cereal in a long time. As obviously corny as it sounds, I enjoy having eggs for breakfast when I do have them because it's really easy. I just can't help it. I mean, it's so easy to just heat up a pan, throw like a little pat of butter in there,
so
kind of get it greased or
right?
whatever, crack a couple eggs.
It costs nothing.
Yeah.
You can fucking live off eggs. Man, when I was in college and I was broke as fuck, I just fucking... You could go to Walmart and get like 40 eggs for like $2.50. Just fucking live off eggs for a week,
It's true, yeah. When I first moved out on my own, rice, bean, eggs, milk, that's how I was doing. Like, people would come over, people that weren't yet, and I'd be soaking the beans, I'd be like, oh, yeah, you guys soak it overnight or whatever, so I have my beans soaking. They're like, yo, what's going on here? Or spaghetti, I would make spaghetti. I mean, you could get for $2, you could have $1 for a box of spaghetti noodles and $1 for a jar of sauce or a can of sauce, whatever you're going to have, and then just, I would eat off that for, 3 or 4 days.
Okay, let me Oh, keep going?
Well, I was just going to say that's pretty much just, it was, at the risk of sounding Hasidic, I also enjoy bagels, but I don't have those quite as often.
All right, let me just power through a couple questions. Court says, "Where's that tranny kiss video?" And my answer is, I have no idea. If any of you have the leaked copy of Sam Hyde's sketch where he makes out with a female-to-male transsexual, go ahead and post it on the pit. I think we'd all have a good laugh. Lonely Boy wants to know, you going to take callers? Yes, we are going to take callers. We'll be taking callers in a little bit here. And if you guys want to call in, go ahead and join the Discord that is linked in the description. And we'll go ahead and announce that when we are. Someone asked, Eggman, when will you be returning to streaming?
I just pretty much haven't been streaming lately just because, there was a certain set of circumstances to where, my streaming was getting, kind of fucked up. I was, my channels were getting strikes and stuff. Right. But, I kind of had it set up to where I could stream again, but I don't know, I just, I did a couple streams, and I just wasn't really feeling it. I was kind of just feeling like I've been kind of antisocial lately. I've just been kind of doing things on my own time and stuff. So I was streaming, and then, I was like, I don't know, I wasn't enjoying myself the way I usually do when I do stream. It just wasn't I wasn't feeling it the way so I just kind of was like, I just got to take some personal time to myself. I'm doing the Egg Wars videos. I'm working on music still. And, once I kind of feel a little more myself, then I'll probably get back to streaming. But I just kind of have been on this antisocial kick lately. So I can't exactly give a definite time. It's just sort of when I'm feeling it again, that's pretty much where I'm at. So
right on. The Lankster asks, Eggman X Bats and the Barbell collab when?
Hey, you know what? I'm definitely down for a collaboration with my good friend Bats. When we first came to know each other back, several months ago now, we had discussed the collaboration of sorts, but she made a video where she was finding herself to be falsely offended by me or whatever, but then people took it serious, and a bunch of people went and basically disliked her video and got all mad about it. But me and her talk pretty much every single day. So I think whenever we're feeling whenever we have whatever, I think we both could definitely get down with doing a collab. So we'll just see. I'm up for it whenever. So
right on.
We'll see.
So we've talked a little bit about your rap career as Egg White. But I was going to ask, do you freestyle?
I do. I think freestyling is a very important part of being a decent rapper. I think, a lot of these guys who I have known who do the SoundCloud rap shit that doesn't really pan out, they just find some really repetitive shit. They don't freestyle at all. They just find some super repetitive shit. There's some guy who spams every fucking rapper's Twitter with this garbage clip where what does he say? He's I'm gonna fuck your bitch. She's gonna suck my dick. Ooh, I'm gonna head lick. Ooh, and like it's like totally garbage. And like where I'm able to get to where like see here. This is just some shit I just I put this on Twitter yesterday or the other day or whatever. But this was all from freestyling. It's able to kind of expand my vocabulary a little more. So like I was gonna do. Some of the shit is pretty much, it's like, I basically, like, when I'm writing, it's like I kind of, like, freestyle and write at the same time, if that makes any sense, because it's like, I have to be feeling, because it's like, I'll write one bar, and then I'm like, oh, in my head, I'm like, I'm pretty much, like, I'm already kind of, like, rapping it, and I'm like, oh, like, writing it down as I go. So, like, when I was doing, this part that was pretty hard, where I'm like smoking on a black and mild, tasting like Nutri-Grain, got a couple pistols and they both under a bitch's name. I'm slick insane, conceived receiving a sickened brain stick. I aim, receive the change, proceed to cease. I'm MIA. It's like you just kind of feel the what's gonna fit. You kind of feel like the rhyme scheme and like what's kind of what kind of fits to go hard on it. So I don't know. It's like it's partially. It all kind of comes together. Like I kind of have the idea where I'll be like freestyling it. Like I know I kind of, or maybe I'll have like half of the lyric like in my head, and I'm like, okay, what's what do I want to hear? It's
right.
It's sort of a process, but I think definitely even if you're horrible and you're just the worst at freestyling, which I'm not really that good anyway, but if you're horrible at it, if you do it more, it'll kind of get your vocabulary open more to where you're not just like saying the most basic shit over and over again.
Right. It trains your brain to think in like a rap-minded way, right?
Right. And that's the thing too, is that like when I'm in a writing mode, like when I'm in like on a vibe of a sort, I'll listen to some of that more like mumble shit. If I'm like thinking about wanting to do music, I can't listen to like I should say one of my top rappers, who's just like has longevity in the game, has relevance in the game is Fabulous. He's been going hard for a long time, and he's still relevant. He's still dropping hard songs on a regular basis. So, would you
be willing to freestyle with me live on the air?
I don't know. I'd probably embarrass myself. I don't know.
I'll embarrass myself with you. Come on, man.
Do you have a beat?
I got a beat in mind. Yeah.
All right. Well, shit. I guess nothing to but to do it.
Let's do it, man. This is... Yo, what's up? This is Stud in the Morning. We got the 5 fingers... the 5 pits of death.
In the morning.
We got the 5 pits of death. We got up-and-coming rapper Egg White with us here in the studio. What's up? Air horn sound effect. Yo, what's up? This is Stud in the Morning. Today we got the 5 pits of death. Let's do this shit.
Yo, shout out to everybody worked on the album, you feel me, Shane? Yo, shouts out to Ty Dollars, shouts out to Haji Daddies, shouts out to Frizzle, shouts out to Frankie, oh, shouts out to Sid the Dude, shouts out to L-Boy, oh.
Alright. I'll let you go in first.
I'm going first, but I'm doing it the worst. My brain is so smooth like it's a worse sausage, but my rhyme schemes are flawless. I do this every day. I wanna fuck Lucy Lawless, but she's old now. She's the old cow. She's the old sow. She's a pig bitch. Yeah. But my dick is like 3-inch. When it's soft, I'm going off. Yo, I never take a loss. I'm the motherfucking boss. I got dripping sauce.
Yeah.
I'm here with the pits, with the motherfucking shit. We got waste bucket. I'm going in on the beat. I'm just like, hey yo, fuck it. We got jacking off. I love jacking off.
Yeah.
The real truth, you're in the booth. I'm spitting everything. I never miss a.
Yo, record scratch. Wicka.
Right,
change that beat up. Yo. Alright, yo. I'm going in, hands are cold, feeling pretty fucking bold. And you know that I never do as I'm told. I'm a badass motherfucker and I never get sold. I'm not a sellout, I'm not like Hyde. I never run, but I always confide. I'm truthful and I spit it out right. I don't fuck that shit up, alright, but I ain't alright, yeah. Yeah. All right. Yo.
Look, I don't leave the house without a little loud on me. I smoke so loud you can hear it all around me. Rest in peace to Sam Hyde. He was good, but I'm the next stride in the game. My egg wars go insane. I sit there at a camera and let my brain just go loose. And I'm spitting all the truth, always, all day. I never fall. And I'm not looking for pay. $5, that's a lot for sitting in my car and making some holler out the window and making some mean Cody cigar. Yeah, he makes the bitches scream when he crashes the car like Charlottesville scenes. Ooh, great Challenger. Blowing up like the Challenger spaceship. I like to take a stick to the face. It puts me into outer space. But I'm not blowing up. I'm on the beat and I'm flowing tough.
Oh, damn. Yo. Freestyle master beat my dick faster than half of these half-assed rappers can even plaster. I plaster it all over the wall. I'll throw your brains all over the ground and put on your skin like a pair of overalls. But that ain't all. Yo, and I keep on spitting and I keep on dropping hits and I keep on hitting and I ain't afraid to stop. I'll keep on freestyle spitting till I take it to the top. I'm the top of the charts. Top 40 is my shit. It's my destiny. Yo, but it ain't free for me. Yo, but I'm flying free, see? And I keep on going and I keep on flowing and I keep it going. Yo, cause I flow like the Mississippi. And you can't miss me.
We flow like Niagara Falls. I just took your bitch and made a lick off my balls. I'm fucking so hard we collapsed all 4 walls. Now I'm going to heaven. Goodbye, I'll see y'all later. I hope you make it too. Fuck the haters. I'm trying to get this paper. Ooh my, shit. I'm blowing like a tuba. I made your bitch suck me up like a clarinet. She got some fair hair and saggy tits.
Yeah, alright. Alright. That was fun, man. That was fun. What you talking about? You're a shitty freestyler, man. Come on, you got that shit. That was dope, man.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. You know,
we got to collab sometime. We got to do a collab album. I'm telling you. All right. Well, I'm gonna go take a 30-second break here, and I'll let you entertain the audience.
All right. Let's see here. Do we have any more tweets going on? I posted this Lacey Green tweet earlier that's doing numbers. I kind of thought about it when I was putting it out. I was like, man, this is kind of a shitty thing to put out, but I mean, it was just so perfect. Like, it all just came together so well. I was like, fuck, I got to do it. Yeah, I was bumping my head so hard that I fucking ripped my headphones out of the audio jack. So I had to walk around because my computer, the way I have it set up, is that my actual tower is like behind my whole desk. So I had to like get up and go plug it back in. So, but let's see here. I guess I just want to shout out. Oh yes, as a matter of fact, Soiree Games makes a good point. I am in a video game. I am in the video game that's on Steam. It's called Neckbeard's Basement Arena, which happens to be a game published by the fantastic European game company Soiree Games. If you are looking for a fun game, local co-op, old school shooter type game for just $3.99, you know, something to check out. What do I think about Rick and Morty and Pickle Rick? You know, I don't watch television, and I haven't watched television I haven't had a television that I've watched in 6 years now. But I've actually have watched the Pickle Rick episode of Rick and Morty just because there was so much fucking memeing going on in regards to that shit. I just basically kind of got forced into watching it, and I watched it, and I was like, I mean, I don't know. It was just kind of average to me. Like, I'm just like, okay, I understand what they're doing. It just seems like some other random like Adult Swim cartoon I would have seen that's like not really, you know, they've had so many over the years. It's just one of those ones that you would think is kind of just like sort of bland and sort of meh. But hey, people
I guess it's because I'm a fucking smooth brain. Like I said in Egg Wars, I said my brain is so smooth that you can ice skate on it. So I guess I'm just too much of a smooth
We're
brain.
talking about Rick and Morty
brain.
here.
Yeah, I'm too smooth brain to be a Rick and Morty fan.
That feeling too intelligent for Rick and Morty. I don't know if you already gave him a shout out, but shout out to Sorry Games, Neckbeards, Basement Arena, to all my pitters.
Yep.
Go ahead. We like to support independent artists here, small time underground artists. So go on Steam. Go check out Neckbeards, Basement Arena.
Yeah, I'm thinking about doing a giveaway of Neckbeards pretty soon as well. I might be giving away like 3, 4, 5 copies of some CD keys. So that's probably what I'll do, because like I said, I was just saying before, I didn't mention this when we were live, but I made like this little rap last night or the day before, whatever, where it was like, I said it was like the E-Bag Wave rap, and somebody actually sent me, as a result of that, somebody fucking sent me $40 to my PayPal. So I'm like, shit, I need some new headphones for $15. Grab that. I could go and fucking buy like 5, 6 copies of Neckbeards and do like a giveaway too. So
Right on.
that's kind of how I'm feeling. And I'm not sponsored. I want to, I don't think that's, I don't know if there's like we need to disclose if I did, but I'm not sponsored. I don't get paid but I'm in a video game, you know what I mean? Like, isn't that every kid's dream? Like, I think when I was a kid, like if I had been like 10 years old or something, and somebody told me, hey, Mills, you're going to be in a video game one day, even if it's, has your head coming in on the screen and you're going around and screaming about your genetics and shooting people, hey, I would have said, you know what? When I was playing Pokemon on my Game Boy Color or whatever at, after school, I was like, man, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, feel free to sneak a PITCAST or a Pit reference in there if you feel so inclined.
Should start the Egg Fam Network, like Honeypot Studios.
Right on. So I think
I sort of, because I support, like my two, I guess, I could probably, the thing is like Soiree, AK Fart Crapper, etc. He doesn't really make YouTube videos, but I try to support my other two, what I consider my right-hand dudes, Arto and producer Chris. I've been plugging them in Egg Wars, to people to sub. I'm not sure if it's doing a whole lot of numbers for them, but I try and give my brothers a step up when I can provide them that opportunity.
Well, somebody, speaking of Rick and Morty, I noticed Rick and Morty is one of those just like caustic topics when it comes to 4chan, where people start a huge shitfest with it. So if you guys have ever seen that image, what makes Rick and Morty 4chan? Yeah, I made that image. Just throwing that out there. But
claiming creator.
Yeah, I'm claiming that is my image. So if you use that without my permission, I'm taking you down, Matt Fury style. But let's. You ready to take some callers here?
Sure thing. Yeah.
All right. So if any of you guys want to call into the show, just go ahead and join the Discord that I linked in the description there. And just mention in the main channel that you want to call in, you have a question, whatever. And I'll go ahead and give you permission to join. I believe... Let's see, someone asked me, Commander 000, I believe asked first, so you can go ahead and hop in here, Commander. If you're listening, you might not be. Well, okay, Soggy Milk, you want to call in? Go ahead and join, buddy. How's it going?
What's up?
You're on the PITCAST.
It'd be 4 people join and like spam some loud ass audio.
Hey, it's a long tradition of 4chan shit posters to raid internet live streams and spam their mic and all that shit. I'd be honored to partake in such a proud, long internet tradition. But Soggy Milk, we can't hear you, so if you have something to say, go ahead and speak up.
Do 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 do.
Do, do, do.
Do, 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 do,
Alright, I'm going to give you about 5
do.
seconds here. Nope, and he's gone. Alright. Who else would like to call in? I guess Soggy Milk just couldn't muster the courage. That's okay, it happens to the best of us. Alright, Technodelic wants to go ahead and call in. You're free to join the channel, Technodelic.
Oh yeah.
Oh wait, I just realized there's a there's a bit of a delay on this.
Hey,
Oh
what's
hey,
up?
how you
We
doing?
got Technodelic in the house.
Yeah, what's up? Here again.
Sorry to hear about your girlfriend.
Oh, no, I
Ex-girlfriend.
just thought that was pretty funny.
Indeed
Nah,
it
she kind of
was.
deserves it. She had it coming. No, I wanted to ask about Lacey Green. What was she like in person? I haven't read your tweets about it.
Lacey, it's kind of funny because so I was at VidCon and you know, we were going around. The guy who I came out there with, because there was a guy who I've worked with in the past who was the guy who basically provided me the means. He covered, you know, for me to be out at VidCon, and you know, he basically brought me out, and we were doing filming because he kind of does he does some videos and stuff. So I was out there kind of being a camera guy for him, and we were filming, and we ran into basically this whole skeptic group. There was Lacey, Chris Raygun, what's his name, Sargon, what's his name, Armored Skeptic, Shoe on Head. There was some guy who calls, I don't know, it was like the black guy or some shit like that. I don't even know what his name
Oh
is.
shit, with all her red pill friends she was talking about.
Yeah, it was basically all those people together, and it was funny because I went over there and I was like, okay, you know, I'm not expecting any of these people to know who I am, so, you know, and none of them did as far as I'm aware, but, like, I went over and, like, Armored Skeptic and Shoe on Head were, like, kind of chilling, so I went over and, you know, and we were doing just random filming and stuff, but I wasn't filming them. I just wanted to go over, like, oh, hey, you know, what's up? I'm familiar with their content or whatever, and they kind of, like, they were having, like, this super, like, oh, I don't even know how to describe it. Like, the best way I could describe it is, like, Reddit messages to each other, like, except in real life. It was basically just, like, super, they were like, oh, yes, you know, an intelligent person such as myself, and, like, oh, you know, we're very intellectual, and they're just like, kind of talking, they kind of just ignored me.
Oh shit,
Like, I
that's
was kind of like,
interesting.
and they were just like talking to like these like all these like, I mean, it was just, that's like the best way I could describe it, is like it was like there was just super Reddit aura going on where they're just like, you know, intelligent skeptics such as ourselves, you know, we're very super intelligent, we're basically the smartest in the whole world, we're not like those SJWs and shit. And so I'm kind of like, you know, okay, so I kind of walked away from those guys, and then Lacey and Chris were together, and they're both like only 5 feet tall, if you don't know, like legit, like they were like, I was like quite shocked. Just actually, I think Lacey's like under 5 feet tall. She's really short.
That's pretty hot.
Chris is maybe like 5 feet tall. But there was some European guy who was just fucking going off like crazy at them because he had just taken quote like taken the red pill, you know, apparently on her behalf. So he just he went and he was just like, oh, Lacey, I saw your fucking red pill video and I'm fucking red pilled now. Like, oh my god, I can't believe all the things I didn't know. I fucking hate those SJWs. I'm fucking red pilled now. Oh, blah, blah, whatever. And so the guy, he is just not letting up. Like, she's obviously like trying to like, you know, talk to other people and like get away. He's just like fucking like on her, like, oh my fucking god, I'm fucking red pilled now. Oh my, I'm fucking red pilled now. And he goes on like to the point where I'm like, I feel like I'm just fucking wasting my time trying to talk to people. I'm like, this is just, you know, I'm like, this is just fucking, like, it's just ridiculous. But anyways, but then I end up start walking away, and then she starts walking away or whatever. She finally like ends this conversation, and then I run into her, and I'm like, oh hey Lacey, what's up? Hey, you know what? can I get like a picture? And she's just like, oh yeah, sure, yeah, it's fine. And then we take the picture, and then she's like, oh hey, yeah. And I'm like, oh cool, thank you. And she's like, yeah. And so that's pretty much like we really didn't even like read a whole lot. Like I was in that presence a whole lot, but like outside of her and Chris, like it was basically just like a fucking Redditor circle jerk. And then like her and Chris, we're just being like bombarded by this one fucking like European guy who was just like losing his shit because he was like took his first red pill or whatever. So it was interesting. This was before, and I ran into, it was really cool though, because like I ran into Boogie also, and like he knew who I was, so I thought that was kind of cool.
Oh, cool.
Like
that is pretty cool, actually. Wow.
So was Lacey hotter in person or way less hot?
I mean,
you have to answer that if you don't wanna.
She's not really what I, I wasn't, shorter, kind of got that stack thing going on, so if that's your thing, it's cool. I don't know. But she just kind of, I don't know, it was kind of, I don't know. I wasn't really feeling it with her, to be honest.
Damn.
Well, thanks for calling in. And
let somebody else call in, dude.
Go ahead.
Appreciate it.
And Commando, feel free to get in here.
What's up?
How's it going?
What's going on, buddy?
Hello, Commander. Good to see you.
Good to see you too, dude. Thank you for having me here.
Anytime. What's going on? What's your question?
My question is, how do you become a net genius?
A net genius.
A net wizard. How do you become a net wizard?
That is a great question. I feel like I used to have more intelligence in regards to computing. Like, I felt pretty, as easy as it is to build a computer. Like when I actually built this computer I'm using a few years ago, like I thought that was like, because I'm kind of a smooth brain, so I was like, I felt pretty good about that. But I felt like years ago, back like, when I was like a teenager, I felt like I knew more about computing. I feel like I'm kind of less into the whole, as much as I should be. I've taken coding courses and stuff before, I guess. I don't know. I browsed G for some time, but I've never been,
Yeah. G in the old days, man. I remember G in the old days. We talked about XP. We talked about Amiga stuff. We talked about the demo scene, man. I was around all that shit.
Back before people just started talking about like fucking phones and that.
Right.
Back when it was about all about Linux distros.
Yeah. Oh, dude, don't even get me started with that distro bullshit. Yo, man, I'm gonna hop from this. I'm gonna hop from Debian, dude. I know this command, dude. I know LS. It's hard. It's hard to deal with that shit now because there's no sense of there's no sense of real what's it called? There's no sense of community on G anymore. It's now just
G sucks.
Talk about stupid topics.
No, G always sucked. I'm sorry.
This is Rice Shoes. You may know him if you're a rate your music user. You may be familiar. One of the most prolific users on Rate Your Music. We've got Rice Shoes in the studio. How you doing?
I just want to say, I'm a software engineer. That's right. G sucks. That's all I
do PowerShell for a career, and I have to say, I have the most boring fucking tech job in the world.
Oh, yeah,
I update TXT systems, and I do PowerShell. That's fucking it. That's it. And I come home, and I make fucking 3D fucking videos. And it's cool. So I hope G...
I feel like PowerShell's cooler than...
PowerShell is kind of cool. They're trying to incorporate all sorts of cool things into PowerShell, but I don't think that they're trying to do it effectively.
Well, I would say thanks for joining in here, 3D Commander.
Videos.
Yeah.
On the topic of 3D videos, I went on this, I'm trying to think when it was. It was probably, I guess it would have, God, I can't believe it would have been like 3 months ago already. I
I was watching all these. I love these like super autistic videos. These like super autistic like shitty 3D videos that like these people. That, what's his name? That
Probably enjoy mine then, dude, because I make a lot of those.
Hey, what's
so
the channel? We'll give it a shout out.
Fodcom, FODCOM.
All
Very
right,
cool.
FODCOM. Go check it out,
Fodcom.
boys.
Thank you so much, dude. I spend so much time push-ups and 3D fucking videos, dude. 3D modeling and push-ups. It's autistic, but I love it.
Well,
Oh, yeah,
so I
man.
ended up taking I took a course in Blender just because I wanted to like learn 3D modeling shit.
Yeah.
And, it was it was interesting because I mean I like art. I like to just have the means to create something. If I feel like creating a super autistic random 3D video, because that's kind of like based on because my early internet presence was I was big. I was had my Newgrounds days where I was always doing like
dude.
Flash
I
stuff.
feel you, dude. I feel that.
And that was like, I pretty much made like autistic shit posts in the form of a Flash animation. I would just have like the most fucking obnoxious autistic things. So I mean, part of me
why
is
do you
like,
keep using the word autistic? That's kind of offensive. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
not
I
even
get the
kidding.
Hey, man, it's okay. It's a great space to talk about. We're all friends here, right? We're good
That's
friends.
hard.
I just think there are better words for you to be using.
Right.
That's
He's
my
creative.
word. We took that. We're taking it back. It's
Yeah,
my word.
I don't know if I can stay here any longer. Sorry.
Oh, that's all right.
Oh, and he's gone. You scared him away with your autism.
It's all right. Hey, come back. But yeah, man. Besides that, I think it's a site called flashportal.com. I think I started there too. There was it was basically a copy of Newgrounds, except they had a lot more content created there.
I was on Flash Portal. That's right. I remember when they created that. Yes, I do remember that now that you mentioned. I did have an account on there.
That was
I
such a
remember that
good
now.
fucking time, dude. I remember playing Bush Shootout on that site.
I don't know. I
Fucking
liked. I ended up liking Newgrounds just because obviously when I joined like the Star Syndicate in the mid to late 2000 era, and and everything was all about just being as obnoxious as possible. Because I mean I had a point where I was like really, I mean we used to do, I mean it all started out even from like back when I was really young, like even in like elementary school.
Right.
We would make we would do PowerPoints. We would put PowerPoints, make our little because I remember this one we had called like Dragon Ball Suck or like some shit like that. And there was Master Yoshi, and he was fucking like banging or we had like Ballsma, and she was like getting banged by like Master Yoshi and like all this different weird shit, like stick figures and stuff. And we would make these PowerPoints.
Yeah.
We would put them onto floppy disks and like be like, oh dude, here's my new thing I made, and it would like play. It was like a digital comic of sorts. So that's where I really first started with that. And then I got into Flash, and then I just kind of became more of an obnoxious shithead. So like I would like the old Newgrounds trick of finding obscure Flash movies that I could fucking rip off the sites that would be good enough to pass, and then like swapping out. I still have one that's up, but it has like a guy getting his fucking like chest ripped open that I like swapped in after I got like some stolen shit passed through, and it's been up for like 10 years now.
That sounds a lot like Madness Combat by it's like Crinkles MD. Yeah.
Mhm.
So that stuff was always good. I appreciated that because it kind of evoked this like net culture, right? This like crazy net culture that we are all fucking collaborating for all these violent these quasi-violent films. Like, hey,
Right.
we're inspired by violent films. We're inspired by all this shit. We'll make it. We'll have a good time.
Yeah, Madness Combat. That was a real trailblazer, because I remember like there was nothing out there that I can remember that really would evoke such a at least from my young remembering, when you watch that was like the first real Flash cartoon that I watched, and I was like, oh
Right.
shit, because you would watch stuff like I was watching Flash cartoons since like probably 2000 or maybe somewhere in that range, and I was watching like these old, it was all like old sprite stuff, and you might have like a sprite film where there's like a little bit of like blood scribbled in, or you might have like somebody like taking a shit or something and their eyes would like bulge out, some random thing like that. But Madness was just such a
such a next level thing where people were getting just getting, you know, it was like this violence, and it was like it was fluid, and it really made you feel something. It wasn't just like sort of a he. It was like, oh, you know, this is like wow. So
I feel that completely, and I think nowadays, I think the whole web culture, the web 2.0 culture, it's been saturated with bullshit. Now we have these constant channels that don't create content from the mind. It's just ad nauseum, just meme after meme after meme, and that's all this shit that I hate. There is no creativity. The net is dead. The old net is dead, dude. It's gone. It's forgotten.
that's why I, you know, although I have made sort now, but I always said like I couldn't stand to do like a reaction video. There's one that I did because like the video ended up getting taken down, and it was basically my thoughts more about like the politics of this random TV show. But I mean, that's like, yeah, that whole thing, just the whole reaction or just everything where, you know, yeah, there's no, I've always been big about, you know, in my time, especially on 4chan, I made a few memes in my day that I saw posted for like.
I'm the grandfather of memes.
I mean, there's just been a few things over the years that I created. Well, that's true too. Yeah, that's a good point. But there was some stuff that I just remember, like, you know, where it would feel good, where you would like make something that was sort of like an original sort of thing, and you see somebody else post it and be like, that's legit. But I mean, it is true. You just don't have, you know, everything is so diluted, and there's just so much, you know, people would rather you know, watch fucking, you know, Yas Queen whatever, and some like
Yas Queen shit. Darth Vader. I love Star Wars. Star Wars is cool.
Yeah, there's just no more these original storylines, or whenever there is something somewhere that is brought to light that has some originality and some, you know, some decent,
it has
whatever
a soul. It has a goddamn soul behind it.
It's just totally, it is ran into the ground within like a day. Now it's just like, it just goes, it's so crazy. It just fucking just instantly is. If it's good like that, people, every goddamn thing is just, you know, it's just wild.
Well, thanks for calling in, Commander.
Thanks for having me, dude. This was awesome.
Very nice
so
talking to you,
cool.
my dude. Very nice.
Hey,
absolutely, man.
Anytime.
Catch you later. All
right, I think we had user Waste Bucket wanted to call in next. But so what have you got going on soon? I know you've got your music career with Egg White. What else have you got in the works right now? What's cooking in your oven?
The works? I mean, I'm really just, there's a lot of stuff that I could and should be doing. Like, for instance, one of the last times I streamed, or actually, I think it was like the second or third to last stream before my first live stream channel got banned from streaming. I got this fan mail package that it actually took like an hour and some change, I think, to open this fan mail, because it was actually, I got it in a huge, it was shipped to me in a giant shop vac box, and it was full of random snacks and foods and clothing and movies and books and all this different stuff from one of my big fans who is just a really fantastic person. And I wanted to, you know, like I actually have done some videos of myself, like, yeah, I guess you could call it, I wouldn't like to really necessarily call it a review, just it was like weird stuff. So I'm like, oh, I want to just like see, you know, what's my reaction to this like random food that I got sent or whatever.
Right.
And I've made videos like it, but I don't know, it was like, it all kind of culminated last month to where I just kind of felt shitty, and I was like, you know, I don't know, I just kind of fell off my game a little bit, so to speak. But I have, you know, I want to make videos about that stuff. But like right now, like I kind of fell into a slump, and so I was kind of streaming a little bit to pick myself up, and it didn't work. So then I started, you know, once I decided to start Egg Wars, I was like, this will be something that's going to get me up every day. It's going to be something where I'm going to be spending, you know, a couple hours, you know, rendering it and uploading it every day. So it's something that's going to kind of get me up,
some structure,
get me a little going. Right. So, I mean, so there's more of those videos I definitely need to do.
and just more music stuff, and just I'm going to be on the weekly Sweat roughly this time in about 48 hours from now. So that's going to be interesting, talking to some of my dudes on there. God, I just don't know. It's just basically, keep on. You just always got to be doing something. I mean, even when I've been laying in bed feeling like shit, I've been trying to, I've been hopping out a couple, spicy takes on Twitter. At least each day I've gone up. I came back to Twitter 3 months ago. I've gotten 700 followers. I just broke 1,000 followers today. In the last few months, people just started doing some of my.
Make sure you guys go memes. Follow. It's @1eggwhite, right?
Right. So it's like, even if
there's a link in the description. You can go click on it. Go ahead. You guys go follow Eggman. And while you're at it, go follow @PITCAST, the official PITCAST Discord. All right, I'm done chilling. Yeah. Waste Bucket, thanks for calling in. What's your question?
Hey, man. What's up, Eggy? How you doing?
Doing good. Glad to have you back on the PITCAST.
No, I'm not. But I just want to talk to Eggy for a second. I need to talk to my brother. Like, what's going on, man? I have a question for you.
All right.
And do you mind if I get a little personal? Like, do you bother by that shit? Or yeah, you good?
It depends if you're gonna it depends. I mean, if it seems like overreaching, then I'll kind of probably just not. But you can hit me with it.
Hey, well, what's overreaching, man? I need some clarification.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I had somebody ask me one time about my sister and shit, and so if it's something like that, I'm not gonna go into that. But
yeah, that's fucked up. I'm not trying to dox anyway. Don't worry. All right. Do you consider yourself a proponent of the MGTOW lifestyle? I need to know this before I ask you.
Well, here's the thing. All right. So obviously, right now, as of last month, I am dating.
Ooh, that's cool.
So that is that. But the thing is, Mia is
that cloud's a bit condescending, man. Like, come on, slow down.
Well, I am against because there's definitely points on both sides. Now the people who, because when I back in April or whatever, I was very I just was losing faith, because it all kind of started back to, when I came back, because I was kind of, I basically stopped doing stuff for a while, and I decided to come back last winter around my birthday, and, I'm opening my mind. Obviously, I've had some pretext in the past to where I had, basically had a lot of, rage against women for various issues and stuff, and I'm like, okay, you know what, I'm going to try and be a new man, I'm going to go above it, and I'm just going to, try and be open and love and everything to everybody. And so I opened to people. I'm like, listen, you guys, if you're whoever you are, if you want my take or you want my advice on something, I'm trying to be good about stuff. And so it all kind of started at this point because, I would talk to guys and they would say, oh, this is going on. And I'd try and give them some advice the best I could. And then some girls, too, would come and be like, oh, I have some issues. And I would try to give them advice the best I could. And the females...
Wait. A girl called in and asked you for, romantic advice? Really?
Well, just life advice and stuff. I've talked
to
there's people who, were going through some shit, and they're just like, what do you think? But I went and, I gave some of these girls advice, and pretty much, as far as I'm aware, I think about 100% of the females who I talked to just totally didn't give a shit. They totally just continued barreling into, the wrong decisions. And I was like, hey, you probably shouldn't do that. And then, it was just but the guys I was talking to, I was talking to guys who, they're like, oh, I got my first kiss today, went on my first date today, all this different stuff. And the guys were like, I'm doing stuff and things are going good. And I'm like, great. So there's been guys who I've talked to in the last years. And last year they've had their first girlfriend, or they might have lost their virginity or any of this stuff like that, or they're doing good in college. And so
you're basically a PUA, is you're trying to tell me. So I'm getting from this.
I'm kind of, so it started off like that, and it kind of worked. It kind of continued on until April. And I was like, you know what, fuck it. I was sort of in an anti-female mindset again after that. And I was like, I'm going to go out because, but at the same time, I was like, it's not for everybody. And this is still the same way that I see it now as well. Because with MGTOW, obviously we are living in a society where if a guy gets married, it's a very, very big risk, and it's such a gamble, and the odds are just not that great. So I wouldn't advise, I don't want to come off in a negative way. I don't want to basically be shitting on a guy and saying, oh, your relationship's gonna go to hell. But
at the same time, I'm very wary of something like marriage, where I tell a guy, you need to, exercise a lot of caution here. So, in one way, I advocate for MGTOW because, in the way where you're not maybe marrying or, but at the same time, when I say that, people go, "Oh, you're MGTOW. That means you want guys to just sit around and jack off in their basement forever and never talk to a girl and everything like that." And I don't think that's healthy, you know what I mean? But at the same time, like, I think there can be a happy medium where you can realize that we're living in, there's definitely the courts and the laws are not very favorable for men. It's just not a very favorable situation for men. You're seeing, a lot of, guys aren't looking to marry a girl who is going out and partying like crazy and getting, all crazy and then wants to marry at 30 and then whatever else. A lot of guys don't want to get into that sort of situation. Like, if I wasn't good enough 5 years ago, I don't want to be like your last resort now. So you see the marriage rates are declining, especially for women who are in their 20s and early 30s and that sort of thing. And I think that, that there's a lot of reasons for that. So on one hand, I don't think people should just be like, super nihilistic and always just, totally just shutting yourself in from everybody and, trying to just totally, I don't want you to like be having an unhealthy, maladjusted sort of lifestyle on one hand, but at the same time, I just think people should be aware, because either they'll try, in the mainstream, because sometimes there's sort of a disconnect, but in the mainstream, you talk about the sort of thing you're considered to be like this, secret woman hater. Oh, they'll pull up one thing. Oh, this girl, she got beat up and she couldn't get help. And, if women need alimony and child support, they need all this and they need full custody. And if you don't agree, you're a woman hater. So it's like, I kind of advocate, I kind of see parts to both sides of it. So that's just kind of my take on MGTOW. I think that there's things to be gleaned from it that, that are good, but at the same time, like, if you go too much into it, I think it can be like a little bit unhealthy and kind of like black pill you too much. So, I mean, obviously it's facts, but it's not mentally healthy for you to just kind of stew on it either. You should just try and live your life, I think, and try and do the best you can for yourself and, and hope, just kind of remain hopeful that, if you get yourself in a good position, you might be able to find, be able to have everything else kind of come together around your solid foundation of life. But at the same time, you shouldn't be having your solid foundation of life just to support some single mother who, has made a bunch of terrible decisions in her life and fucked her life up. So, yeah. Someone in the chat asks, wants to know what you think about just be violent theory. It's funny that I've seen this even creeping into my Twitter timeline lately, because I haven't really discussed it much. It was pretty much just on my streams I discussed it. But it all started at some point, probably around the same time I was thinking about like MGTOW. I don't remember how. Well, no, I'm trying to remember what the exact incident was that brought it to my attention. But there was some girl, or I noticed a pattern of women who, because obviously coming from a guy like me, I've autistic and everything. When I was younger, I was like the beta sort of like nice guy phenotype or whatever, where I was just like fucking, I would like jump in front of a train just to like, for a woman to, not have one of her hairs pulled off by the force or something crazy like that. So I came to realize, like, okay, in my mind, I was like, I sort of became a little bit better adjusted, and I was like, no, it's not that the nice guy versus jerk thing. It's just you got to be not a fucking pushover. You got to be able to, be a confident sort of man and just, be able, have some self-esteem and that sort of thing, be able to, have a little bit of charisma and stand on your own 2 feet and just not be a pushover and everything like that. So there's that. But it was weird because I just kept on noticing that there was women who were repeatedly in these relationships that I talked to, and that I had noticed in my life, as well, once I kind of started thinking about it, where they were in these relationships with guys. Like, the guys weren't even like I knew some of these guys and they weren't even like good, like confident guys. They were like still, they could be like kind of pussy guys, but like once they would like get alone with their female, their wife or girlfriend or whatever, they would just smack them around and fucking, just treat them like horrible, like trash. And it was just like, I couldn't understand it. I was like, why would you want to be with a guy who's literally beating you? There was one girl who I talked to who, her boyfriend brought some other girl to their place or whatever, and like slept with this girl in their bed and like told her about it. And then she was like, I don't know. It was just so weird. It was just like I couldn't understand. It was like, why? A confident guy is one thing, but you're going for like these guys who are just so obviously horrible people. And there's actually just recently there was a girl who I know who some guy. Now this girl is very straight edge and everything like that. Just she's probably about as close as you would get to like a female robot type of chick, I guess you would say. She's like kissless, hugless, virgin, just never had a boyfriend, that sort of thing. But anyways, and she's not unattractive at all. But this guy basically just fucking sends her a message, and he's like, "Hey, I want you to drive over here and fucking blow me or some shit like that." And she was like, that's super rude. How, like, it's so offensive. That's so horrible. And I was like, yeah, well, because she had kind of liked the guy, I guess, at first, because I guess he was kind of like a nerdy sort of guy, and he liked anime or whatever, and she likes this shit. So they had like some common ground. And the dude's like, "Oh, you, get over here and fucking blow me." And I was like, oh, that guy's obviously horrible. He's obviously acting like a total shithead. You're looking for a guy. You have this lack of, you're looking for something solid. You're not looking to fucking run into some guy who's obviously just out for this sexual thing. So, okay, whatever. A couple days go by. All of a sudden I find out that she's fucking driving over to see this guy, and she fucking gets there, and the guy's like, blow me. And she's like, I'm not going to do that. And then he fucking tells her to fuck off, and she has to drive back home. And I'm like, why would you do that? And she's still like, I don't know. Like, it's so crazy to me. Like, these women, because I don't know. So I started looking into it, and it turns out that this thing that I supposed at the time, as I was sort of theorizing it, is this just be violent theory, which is like, really just treat women like absolute garbage and just be a fucking like psychotic motherfucker. It actually has a term called hybristophilia. Now, I do believe this term was coined by John Money, notorious for his weird fucking, or it was either Money or Kinsey, I think it was Money though. Obviously, he's obviously very notorious for his very degenerate sexual experiments and things.
Wait, was he the guy who could like make these two little kids fucking trans, like when they were kids? Was that the guy?
Yeah, he's the guy who cut their dicks off or whatever when they were like back in the 70s, and made them like kill themselves or whatever. Yeah.
Okay.
But so yeah, so he's the guy who coined the term. So there's that. Okay, but at the same time, there's a guy who what's his name? He's on YouTube. Bar. He has a couple videos about it that are like whatever it is, and his videos on it are clear and concise. They're talking about there's these fan bases of women up from like young teens to old women online who fucking worship serial killers, and they worship like
I dated a girl like
they
that.
love violent men, and so that's just basically how I came around to it, And the thing is too is when we look at it, because the way he explains it in his video is it's a very good way of putting it. Basically. Those are women who are on like the far side of the spectrum, but really it does affect all women to a degree, because obviously you have a girl on like the lowest end. She's gonna want you to wrap her arm around her in public or whatever. She's gonna want you to smack her ass every now and then, that sort of thing. She's gonna want some of that. There's some of that inherent in our biology where women just need a guy who's a dominant guy. They want a man who's exhibiting dominant behavior, and obviously like super mass violence and sadistic sort of things are way on one end, and those chicks are really messed up. But then there's varying degrees of it in all levels of stuff. But it was just kind of a mind fuck to me, because obviously it was sort of like making the next jump. The one jump when I was younger, where it's like, okay, go from being a fucking beta pushover to like you got to be able to stand on your own 2 feet. You can't be, you can't take women that seriously. You got to be on your own. You got to be an independent, for yourself kind of guy. But then like moving up to basically where chicks are literally like flocking to guys who are just beating them and like beating people up in their family, threatening their family members, all this stuff. It's so wild. I'm like, why? It's just wild to me. It just blew my mind.
You're listening to the PITCAST, bringing you the latest armchair beta philosophy on the net. Thanks for calling in, Waste Bucket. It's good to have you on the show.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. I love you, Eggy. Keep it up. Please don't kill yourself. Bye.
All right, I think we got time for one more caller here.
Soggy milk. Let's hope it works this time.
We're giving this guy another shot. He really fucked it up the first time around, but we're all about second chances here at the PITCAST.
Before he hops in, I'll answer this question I'm seeing on my screen real quick. Do I put cheese in my eggs? I love to put cheese in my eggs. If I do scrambled eggs, I definitely enjoy putting a little bit of shredded cheese on that. It's good to me. So, do we have soggy milk in the house?
How's it going, soggy milk? Well, you failed. I'm disappointed in you, son.
But
you could have been one of the greats. You could have been a waste bucket, but instead you're a no-show, a silent, a nobody. Now get out of here.
Well, I don't want to be harsh on soggy milk. I'm sure that it's they're probably just having some internet issues I'm all too familiar with. So, shout out to soggy milk. Got a lot of love for you, but just
shout down to soggy milk. I'm just fucking with you, soggy milk. We'll let you can figure this shit out, and don't worry, you can call in next week. Alrighty then. Oh, it looks like we got one more caller here.
Duck Blur. Do we got Duck Blur? Let's see. I'm sitting here. I'm looking in anticipation. Oh,
here we go. How you doing, Duck Blur?
Yo, Egg. Yo, Stud. What's up?
Hey, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
Good to have you on. Good to have you on.
What would you like to talk about?
I'm doing good.
So, do you have any particular things you would like to ask me or get my hot, spicy take on?
Well, I had a question, forgot it, and then he couldn't do it, so I thought I'd slide in. I was the guy who brought up Rick and Reddit. Just off the cuff, have you heard of Xavier Renegade Angel? It's kind of Kino. It's like an old Adult Swim show from 10 or so years ago.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you how I feel about Xavier. Now, I have not watched the full series, to be fair, but I gotta say, now I think it's probably my own fault. My brain is probably just far too polished, so baby butt smooth. But I watched it, and it's not like I didn't enjoy it. I mean, I would say that to a degree, but it wasn't people. I just watched some more of it recently.
Right.
People were it was obviously Rick and Morty versus Xavier's the shitty show.
The Chad composition.
Right. So don't get me wrong. Looking at it from there's a lot going on in that show. Obviously, there's a lot. There's a lot of levels of things to be appreciated for sure. But at the same time, it's almost. I feel like it's probably how people that aren't familiar with, maybe on this broadcast a bad example, but I know people who aren't familiar with Sam Hyde and don't get him in a way. Because I've shown people just recently who have never seen Sam Hyde before, and they're just they have no idea. They're just oh, okay. I think it's kind of the same thing. I can understand it, but it's
relating to that. But keep going.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. Maybe it's just gonna need some time to maybe I need some time to digest it, so to speak.
Yeah.
But I think that might be the case. I just watched it. It's I do enjoy it, but I don't think I'm getting all of what is there on the table. It's I'm sort of delivered this abstractionist buffet of sorts, or this what's the word I'm looking for? It's escaping me. Whatever the case is. Sort of abstract buffet of sorts, and I'm kind of just picking. I'm going for the parts of it.
Yeah, it's absurdism, absolutely.
Absurdism, yeah. So I think it's sort of it's this 3-course meal, and I'm kind of just sticking to the dessert, maybe, if that makes sense. I'm not really wrapping my whole head around everything. I'm sort of just taking it on sort of a smooth brain level where I really need to I really just need some time to digest it and get that galaxy brain take on it.
Yeah, well, definitely it interweaves a lot of elements for sure, and it parodies sort of pseudo philosophy, pseudo spirituality, which I just found funny. But yeah. Oh, and shout out to Lonely Boy. He was at the Philadelphia MD showing a couple years ago, and I was there too. I don't know if I saw him, but shout out to Lonely Boy.
Shout out to Lonely Boy. I'd love to have you on the show next week.
He's on next week?
I said I'd love to. I'd love to have him on for the full show. If you're listening, Lonely Boy,
yeah, that'd be
next week. I'd love to have you on for the full podcast.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
But thanks for calling in, Duck Blur.
No problem.
Good to talk to you, my dude. Thank you.
Yeah, been a long time fan, Egg. Nice to see you. Nice to call in for having me.
Absolutely, my man.
All right. Well, I was gonna say, I showed a friend of mine. So I've got a black friend. I've got black friend guys. I've got black friends. Not only does it make me a better rapper, but it also makes me 100% not racist.
Hallelujah. Shout out to my boy Black Snyder. Go ahead.
I showed my black friend Sam Hyde, and I showed him like one video or something, right? A week later, I get a phone call, and he calls me out of nowhere, right? I pick the phone up, and I'm like, "Hey, what's up?" And he's like, "Hey, man," he's like, "So I've been watching this Sam Hyde guy," and he's like, "I got really high yesterday, and I just hit play on one of his videos," and he's like, "I spent all day watching this dude's videos," and he's like, "This dude's really funny, right?" But he's like, "Is this dude racist?" He's like, "I can't tell. Like, I can't tell when he's joking or when he's being serious. Like, is this Sam Hyde dude racist?" And he was like, and I was like, "Yep, he is. But that doesn't mean he's not funny." And we had an interesting conversation about it, but I thought that was pretty funny. Anything you want to add before we close out the show, Eggy?
Let's see. I'll answer one more question here that I saw just come up. From Waste Bucky. He said, "Have I hung out with Pizza since the Christmas stream?" Yeah, me and Pizza hang out fairly often. I would say I'd probably hang out on average over the last 6 or months. That's probably the average. I would say is usually like 1 month we'll go. I just went and hung out with Pizza on Tuesday, or was it Tuesday? I don't remember now. But we went out. We got breakfast. We went to the park. Had a good time. Just chilled out. We went out, had breakfast, went to the park. I actually filmed some video of this. I might do something with it. But we went and because usually what we do is when we hang out, we usually have breakfast. We go to the park and kind of hang out and chill a little bit, and then we kind of usually split after that. But we went to this tobacco shop and bought a cigar and some candy, and then we went and sat over by this dam and smoked a cigar and just kind of chilling, sitting around. And I had some candy, and then we went and there was a bunch of ducks all over the place, which I filmed 20 minutes of duck videos on my GoPro. That had a good time. But so yeah, we hang out fairly often. Pretty much almost exclusively, the sort of human contact that I have outside of the internet. So I should probably hang out with Pizza more often, but it just kind of depends on when we're both free. We always have a good time hanging out. I always enjoy each other's company a lot. So shout out to Pizza.
Shout out to Pizza. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, man.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Had a great time. Shout out to all the callers. Shout out to everyone. It's been a couple hours of loads of fun.
If you guys want to check out more from Eggy, we've got all the links in the description. We've got his YouTube, Twitter, Snapchat, all that good stuff. And make sure you guys go ahead, check out reddit.com/r/thepit, link in the description. Go ahead, subscribe. Stay tuned there. Post your funny memes. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at PITCAST. Link in the description. And to play us out, we'll play a little bit of Egg White.
Oh, yeah.
This song is called Come On.
Oh, hell yeah. That's what's up.
need another man to judge your decision, or female giving you hell, rather living uplifted. So come on to all my brothers and sisters, let's come together, chasing our dreams, making the right decisions that will elevate, accentuate our vision, accomplishing our mission. Ignore the naysayers, detrimental with their bitching. The mind is precious, wanna see it glisten. Can't stand to waste it, apply myself to the task, success is awaiting. They try to knock me off of my feet, they wanna see me back hurting, so I'm right back working, had to grow myself for certain. Can't allow the draw of curtains, keep the spotlight on. And when you hear this song, you get that spring in your step, that dosage of pep. Nothing could hold you back, staying right on your track. We came too far, no longer could drop off. We're locked in, rock in, feel it in your heart. Raise your hands and strut your stuff, and you cannot kill my vibe, cause my hide is extra tough. Yeah, I'm built from something different, do not need the arrogance. Summer night aesthetic is way beyond comparison. Warm breeze after sunset, that's enough for me. Looking at my past, where I'm at now is luxury. Time healing my wounds, now I'm feeling my groove. It's never too soon to start getting yourself in tune. Go and show me your moves. Man once said, cheer up my lad. So this one here is made special for the ones feeling bad. So you can hate it if you want to. Your mission when you listen is to let your smile glisten. Kick it like a mule, wild and act a damn fool, cause it's all warm energy. Whether I'm alone or somebody's dancing next to me, at home or on my phone. Or maybe you might even hear this on the radio. That would be cool for sure, cause I swear the whole world need to feel this funky flow and get fresh with the rhythm. Dose of sunshine in the system. If you love somebody, let them know, cause one day you might miss them. And I missed a couple shots, but I will go the distance, cause it ain't all about the speed, it's who's crossing the finish. This is the anthem for those who are feeling uplifted and down for winning. We're never stopping, really full speed ahead, and we ain't seeing red.